Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it is the final day of the grandest party of them all, Season 32, and in today's video, we're using Wipe It and Ace. Now, this character I have been sort of gassing up the entire season because the rule set, like, drastically helps this unit. Now, this unit has one of the best bursts in the game, however, it's so hard to get their burst online because you need to have characters that die, and it doesn't really work in the game style and the way you play Grand Party. However, this season, it's based around tags, as we all know. Revolutionary Army, Navy, and 4 Emperor's characters get massive buffs to all of the teams they use. Plus, they get an extra burst and a minus 40% launch requirement, which is massive for Wipe It and Ace. It turns their burst from like needing 8 characters to die to something like 5, which is just absolutely disgusting. So these are the teams that I'm running. I know a lot of people are using Kaido this season. I did use Kaido yesterday. Very, very good. He's probably going to secure you the 15 wins very easily. Definitely a character you want to avoid as well when you are doing your fights. Characters like Shanks is also very good. If you guys use Shanks, let me know in the comment section below. I used him on day 3 and he performed wonderfully. But I did test out Wipe It and Ace day 1 and they did feel they do feel very, very powerful because of this particular burst and this leader skill. So leader skill, you can build powerhouse-driven fighter teams as well as quick team. The quick team, whilst it does have a lot of quick powerhouse units, you definitely can do it. But for myself, I just don't love the team that much when we have different options and you can sort of chop and change between like quick fighters on, say, the shooter team with stuff like Caulifla. As you can see here, the burst ability targets quick type powerhouse fighters or driven class teammates for massive stats. You do a 70% reduction to all enemies, 100% chance to half stats, and then target 4 enemies with high CT for 4 times attack. So this basically just kills 4 units. Like, that's basically what this says, and drastically nerfs the opposition as well as boosting yourself. As you can see, you can use it 2 times. This will go up to 3 times, and the burst is when 6 enemies are defeated. This will actually go down to 4. So I thought it was 8, but it's actually 4. So today, this is what we're going to be running for the final day. Obviously, we're not going to target stuff like Kaidos and Shankses and even like Int Luffy's. We will target changed leader strats. Remember to change your leader at the end of the season. Make sure everyone can get the 15 wins because the 50 gems is going to be very valuable coming in to the 11th anniversary. We just got information as of last night with all the characters for part 1. There will be part 1, part 2, part 3. So having as many gems as possible is definitely going to help you guys out. But if you enjoyed the video, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. And with that said, let's dive in. Alright, well, sometimes it just be like that though. So, I'm going to take on Gear 5 6+. I think Gear 5 6+ is just nowhere near as good as Int Gear 5. Even though Int Gear 5 isn't like where they used to be. Psy Gear 5 on a team tells me that bottom team is either Psy or it is Free Spirit. So, let's do this and we'll send it. Having Quick at the front there is a little bit terrifying because like Quick can move pretty fast. But the upside to fighting a Luffy that isn't from Egghead is that we don't have to worry about him having the 4 Emperor's tag, which we obviously have with Wipe It and Ace. So we're going to get all the buffs, and they definitely are not. The burst obviously still can do damage. Like Luffy 6+'s burst is just absolutely wild, but obviously he has been replaced by like Int Luffy, the Strength Luffy, and then the new Trio Luffy that is coming out for the 11th anniversary. I feel like he's just going to be like a go-to over this guy. But if you guys are using 6+ Luffy, let me know in the comment section below because he has been a staple in the game mode for a very, very long time. So 3 bursts at our disposal, very, very handy. Obviously, if we start losing units, the shooter team can be very, very flimsy. So it's a really good team to run in the front lines. And a big reason why I like to run it is because they use their specials very, very quickly. We pick up a lot of KOs. And then the enemy has the opportunity to kill a couple of our units, whilst we also can then use the burst to sort of win if we need to. Downside to fighting Gear 5 6+ is that if he does kill units, the damage he does goes into his burst. So Kuzan, man, Kuzan's so good. The 6+ Kuzan, the damage output he has is so phenomenal. Upside to first in Gear 5 6+ too is if the enemy doesn't do damage to us, we don't have to worry about the bursts. And then if he does do damage to us, then we obviously get our burst at our disposal. So shooter team's been working absolute dividends for me under Wipe It and Ace. Obviously having the fighter characters in Caulifla, S-Snake and Luffy Lucci get the buffs under Wipe It and Ace, and then the quick units of Caulifla and what's his name? Kuzan are getting very nice buffs there too, making the team work exceptionally well. And then obviously the tag set just literally buffing everyone. So strength team with Odin and Vivi. That's a lot of CD reduction I can see right there. Okay, well, we have the powerhouse driven team. This particular team, usually I have strength Luffy where Wipe It and Ace is, but obviously you need to put Wipe It and Ace somewhere. And this particular team is just satisfies them the best. You obviously can do a lot of stuff with maybe like int or strength with a lot of PvP legends and rare recruits, and then just throw Wipe It and Ace at the back end of, say, like a fighter bench and do some fun stuff that way. But for my particular setup, running them on this sort of driven powerhouse setup with the new Pika just works the best. Pika's a fantastic character with the half stats that we can get, as well as the shield to protect Kaido and King. So Jack's going to go. We're going to get the half stats there. As you can see, Big Mom Katakuri are ready to go. And now we have our specials. The enemy with Jack under Gear 5 6+ is so good because Jack's HP cut basically just fully charges the burst ability. So something we have to be mindful of. It didn't hit everyone, so we are still in a pretty nice, juicy spot. Super special of Big Mom Katakuri basically just stops them from doing anything, and from here it's basically just a win. If we get the burst, or if they use their burst, they kill a few units, we get our burst, it's basically game over. Big upside to Wipe It and Ace is their burst is basically just a win button. So if you have it in your back pocket, you can definitely just absolutely pip out wins. Running teams that have revives as well, like Free Spirit, can be very, very handy, but obviously this team with Big Mom Katakuri having a revive, it actually works out quite well too. So first win in the bag, definitely nothing to stress about at all. Gear 5 6+ doesn't scare me that much, but obviously not having a changed leader, it's a little bit scarier than that. All right, so fight number 2. Look, we can definitely go that middle team, but I think we just go Gear 5 6+ for the content, right? Like, we'll just take on Gear 5 6+ once again. I don't really see us losing to a Gear 5 6+. I might eat my words, but at the same time, like, it worked wonderfully in the last fight, and it makes for a bit more of a fun game style for myself. However, I understand if people are sort of just trying to get their 15 wins, just take the free leaders that are on offer. So, Free Spirit in the front. Okay. Well, we're not dealing with Strength Luffy, so there's one less revive. Roger Pirates is a little bit scary. Like, Enmazora and Nami Karina combination in Grand Party can be a little bit scary, so we do have to deal with that. But the upside here is that we have a lot of cooldown reduction on ourselves, and we're giving the enemy a lot of negative cooldown reduction. So we should pop off our specials pretty damn quick. And if we can kill the right units, like Nami Karina, for example, then we should be in for a pretty good go. Kuzen does so much damage here. Oof, unfortunately, we don't get any kills. It's a bit of a problem. Okay, Nami Karina is now gone, so we don't have to worry about the rollback. However, we do still have to deal with that super special of the Roger Pirates. That can be a little bit scary. Otama has a heal under her belt now too. And this is where the shooter team shines, because basically what happens is... Did we kill Zora too? Damn. What happens is we get our specials off so quick and we throw out so much damage that now they have the opportunity to throw back specials at us. And then if it's Gear 5 6+, for example, they can actually use the burst, which then could kill units, and then we can just burst to win. Or have our burst ready for the next fight and still pick up the W with a very, very strong shooter lineup. So the CD reduction, action bind from Usopp Lilith, that's just so ridiculously fantastic. And then Kuzen should basically just wrap the rest of this fight up. And then S-Snake has her super special, which is, like, pretty unheard of, to be honest. Like, we don't usually see this. I think you need to take 3 specials for S-Snake to pop off, so we'll definitely take it. Now Luffy doesn't get his special off. I think he actually just got knocked back, so... Goodbye, Sentamaru. Goodbye. Okay, there goes the special. So we're not even going to have to worry about the burst, and the enemy doesn't get any of their burst charge. So basically just in the exact same position as we were in the last fight. However, the victory wasn't as swift. And that's to be understandable, because the Free Spirit team, in my opinion, even this variation of the Free Spirit team is just way better than quick. Alright, so let's see the second fight's shooters. Okay, shooters, interesting. Basically just the lineup that we just threw out. Okay, well, we might be in for a rough one here. Shooters are so fantastic, man. Like, so ridiculously fantastic. The bench looks a little bit different, but that's because obviously we run a strength team. So we don't have Kuma on the bench. At the end of the day, though, because we have our bursts under our belt, like, it's just a win. Like I said, Wipe It and Ace, if you win the first fight and you have your 1 to 2 bursts, even 3 with this season, it's basically just over. Big damage from Kuzen, man. Kuzen can hit so hard. Rollback from Usopp Lilith. Again, Usopp Lilith is so fantastic. And then the action binding is such a problem. Blackbeard going off is actually really handy. So now we get the damage over time. Okay, hopefully we don't hit Big Mom. Okay, hitting Wipe It and Ace is interesting, because if Wipe It and Ace dies, they now don't get their auto proc. So we do need them to sort of hang on for that 11 seconds, which they should be able to do because Pikqchu is about to give us a shield. Big Mom Katakuri's like level Limb Break 5 super special is just ridiculous. It's so damn powerful. Alright, we didn't get a shield on Wipe It and Ace. That's okay. Because the 2 characters that have specials are special bound, so we should be alright. Oh, Kaido and King just wrap this up. GG's. With the half stats from Big Mom Katakuri and Pika, yeah, you ain't surviving that. No chance in hell. Well, we lose that special, but that's okay. Rise of Shinobi versus the world, right? Alright, GG's. Beautiful. So, fight number 2 in the bag. Like I said, the teams that I can use under Wipe It and Ace obviously are very impressive as well. I know everyone's not going to have like Pika or like the investments that I have, but at the same time, and like that shooter team, but at the same time, I feel much more comfortable using Wipe It and Ace than Kaido. Alright, well, we do have like 2 change leader strats here, but I'm going to go with this guy here because I feel like this was the change leader team that we passed up last time. And we're going to do this just so we can get the strength team like in the actual video. Now, as I was saying, like Wipe It and Ace for me, the teams that I can use under Wipe It and Ace, I just feel a lot more comfortable with. And that was the same with Shanks too, actually. I felt a lot more comfortable with the teams I was using under Shanks and the way that he worked rather than Kaido. I didn't dislike Kaido. I could definitely recognize that Kaido is very, very strong. But I just felt like even maybe the way I was just playing with Kaido wasn't perfect, or I was maybe trying some riskier stuff. Wipe It and Ace this season definitely felt like the best leader. Definitely the most fun because in regular seasons, if you don't have this 40% reduction for Wipe It and Ace, if you don't have what's it called? I mean, if you don't have the extra one, it's not a problem. You realistically only need 2, but that 40% reduction just makes so much of a difference. It actually brings the burst into play. When I was using them without the extra rule set, it did feel like you were just using 1 burst to sort of salvage a fight. And then you just wouldn't see the second one, or it would just scrape you across the line for a victory. If you had the burst at the back end of a fight, which I think I did pick up a few victories in that sort of vein. So it's definitely like a very strong maneuver to have in your back pocket, but at the same time, like it's not something that I want to be relying on. And getting it with 6 deaths is so different than getting it with 4 deaths. 4 deaths, you still literally have half your team. 6 deaths, you're relying on 2 units to carry. So revives can obviously change that. That can make it very, very nice and very, very easy. But at the same time, like I said, you really don't want to be relying on that. Alright, so like, this fight's over. Let's skip this. This is a changed leader strat too, by the way. The other 2, like I said, I'm pretty confident were auto builds, which, look, shout out to those guys, giving everyone the 15 wins. Makes life like very, very easy for a lot of players. And I'll show you guys how to do that auto fill at the end of this video, because I definitely will do that for you guys at the back end, because I understand my teams can be a little bit challenging to fight, even without a burst under the belt. Like, I do understand with the investments that I have, it just can be, like, it can be very, very frustrating to deal with. Alright, strength versus strength now. Look, this could definitely just go either way. It realistically just depends whose Luffy and Kuma goes first. If his Luffy goes first or his Kuma goes first, like, that could just guarantee the win. If the waifus go first for my team and, like, confuse the enemy, like, then I could win. Like, Kobe's obviously a point of difference as well, so like that can be a huge difference as well. Alright, we're going to take some special binding there. Kobe's going to go. Alright, basically this is a wrap now. So we have Kuma and we have Luffy at the haste helm. See you later. I would love the bench to come in, and now Luffy should just round out the rest. So that's going to wrap up Grand Party, Season 32 in the bags. The tag system I'm a big fan of. I really like the way that they did this season, where if your leader has the tags, you just get ridiculous buffs to your entire team. It makes the game mode a little bit more interesting to play, and it obviously doesn't really hone into the fact of, okay, well, I need to bring these units and satisfy the rule set, because the rule set is affecting everyone because of my leader. Tags seem very interesting. I definitely think it's going to be the main focus through the entire year, so get used to that, and hopefully as long as they don't go too crazy with it, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So what you want to do is, at the end of your day, you can either edit leader to like a non-PvP bursting unit and do something like that, but because it's the end of the last day, I am going to select auto edit. You need to make sure that you do this on your original team that you got your last win on. You need to select any character that you guys like. I'm going to select Shanks and Buggy. A legend that doesn't have a GP burst is usually a good indication for people to say, okay, this is an autofill team, and then they basically just sort of funnel into what that character is doing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let's